Hello, a very good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be watching us today on Monday. It is weekend day, so it is usually a busy day, but we had to do this for our viewers and everybody that has been watching us. We are very grateful for your support, encouragement, and everything that kept us moving, day by day. And with me today is one of the most outspoken now at the same time outspoken politician in contemporary government society. And he's no other person but Honorable Yaya Mendes Sanya, whom we'll have a 1 hour discussion with regards to the monumental raising of UMC. And of course, we'll look into the leadership as well. And we will conclude this discussion with their calculation, the strategies, the growth plan for UMC. And we will do the program in Mandinka. Time and time we will chip in. So I know it's going to be very difficult to have the entire program in Mandinka without putting English there. Like Shidia will always tell me, Allah generation okay. But we will give a try. Honorable, good to have you with us. We are very happy.
Anyway, you said is in Mandinga, but you started in English. Okay, thank you very much. John
Yeah.
and Mr. Malmo, nice to have me. And nice, we're going to have a very progressive and interactive discussion. I'm content to be with you people here.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Doc, good to be back. Inimbar.
Alright, kung nga fo nyamin don daga man nga kangolo fo te buka alla nyin tuwa kang fo bake because political is na yalo kulo mo, and then if you are talking to an audience mi yalon ko wol mun na mollating nga diamu ya kan na mi yalon ko mo be sa mo na fang so noje yo on kontanda bake nga
Yeah,
honorable ya maintain sanya so
yeah.
right nga ya maintain so sanya so jang ko ya fo nyamin drong député lo mata mi yalon ko député farman sarimba ko nga fo nun ko mon to nyami jama ka fo nyoko yaade nate min mutade e namon kudute jeeda bu ko bulada ka kele fo faatu poto jodo so mo kuma balati na natan na political la karola pour na ka cha soto no mimbe dendi na banko la mimbe dendi UMC la anen e be nyontan ko men ke kan anen ka joko 2026 UMC masa kundai soto so abe kumala ba ke nga ka chan no kula mimbe dendi wala bi and kontano ko warta ba pour ke so jambi. Thank you.
All right, just to start with Mende, Honorable. Akumada baga purke sa jam. But program damu ta damu wolam to give us a preamble ya ko ya wuluta muntole ala karanta munto. Just briefly, I know this is a usual thing. Sometimes it's a customary way of doing stuff, but let's have a couple of minutes to do that. Yeah. Formule wuluta dami.
Okay, thank you very much. Gabis malmo ngal be kontong altonal kontong nde wuluta kian kuinere ngana primary school ka kian kuinere mbota kian kuinere primary school in those days we call it junior secondary school leaving certificate examination mbota auto narata LK. That year I was the first person na school auto grade 6, so bring nata LK Mamino LK because Nina Kombojang Tolman Tola Mamoy in those days. Birin Nata Jang LK school, nga realize ko Nimenu Benta class well they were friends in Benun Kramun Kline, so Oteria be temal. So Namu provincial boy class on. So during break time, Mtabuka Domorungo Soto, Mobuka Tai, to the Malakatonyoka. So I was very uncomfortable, I was very lonely. So nata fana broda ntabe murla kuinala nata muru kuinala junior secondary school ngana grade 9 ke otombora ora narata botro ngana high school ke otombora botro mtara Gambia College for my HTC mbora Gambia College ngat karan loke karamu dandando mbora ora nara scholarship osoto 2008 to study civil and disaster prevention engineering in Taiwan. Brimbon Nawaldo, I work with World Bank, IFAD, Natata Gambia Law School Falangana Lua Karawoto, then Natata Gambia OIC Secretariat as a Deputy Project Manager, Mbeoto Politico Karabu, Nata resigned 2022. Lota Dipteala Latrikunda Savage constituency. But Bimbon Queen instead of Birkama, Birkama Narat Latrikunda instead of for I think about 21 or 22 years.
Oh, that's brilliant. Honorable Kaio Omo Karanjam Balti. That's why today you are where you are today. So kadung kajanyin kono kadaba kama yani mba dog bula question flow nyinenka. I think nimba kumala baga ke nyinenka. Imo multi mi anno ko hamo sort of engineering kana no and yola fanan karam kabeta mada non Taiwan. Mon kula sabu itada ye law school ya ko ndia I wanted to go into law. Tell us the motivation behind that.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, before engineering scholarship, my first scholarship was soil physics in Sudan. But in those days, I was like, why will I study soil physics? So when I Googled soil physics, I realized that this is not something I want to do. And I told my brother, I don't think I will want to do soil physics. They thought I was mad, but it's a you don't believe in it. Trust me. So I've been going with this for the longest period of time. And I go, why will I study soil physics? I don't want to study soil physics because I look at the career prospects. It was very, very limited. I look at the total number of doctors at the Ministry of Agriculture, no significant improvements or impact. So I feel because soil physics, when I come back, I'll definitely go into Ministry of Agriculture. And at the time, I'm not very inspired. I dropped that, and I think the following year, civil engineering, so I also applied for that. Yes, engineering study kan. I had a political ambition, and I look nga dunia president bal jibe, nga dunia politician bal jibe, nga jako bem loyal. Do you understand? So probably there is something in law that makes up good leaders. Do you understand? That I remember my first day in class with Dr. Carol, may he saw us in perfect peace. Bida be mo nyinin kaka minat na momo elefta minan na momo able elefta kalwakara in the class. Ndanga yena fa ko ndelefta luwakara na because I want to be a politician. Akonya why? Because all the world great leaders are lawyers. So it's not a coincidence. There is something in law that prepare better leaders. So it was not easy for me because I used to travel a lot and also both outside and outside the country and internet treks. But until I was able to graduate Narata Law School year before last and confirmed as barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Gambia. It was not easy, but alhamdulillah. So to answer your question, to be a better politician because dunia la politician balbe Bill Clinton will, Larry Clinton will, how do I call it? Barack Obama will, Nelson Mandela, they are all charismatic leaders. So there is something in law that prepare good leaders. So what actually?
Yeah, I mean, before Dogla Michael, I think that really makes sense. Some of us, it's about fighting against injustice, especially Albania United Democratic Party. A lot of injustice was meted against you people and so many people around the world.
Absolutely.
You can't sit and watch stuff like that. That's the inspiration that I always get from studying law, though, to fight against injustice.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Dog, yeah, welcome. I know we'll have a discussion around that.
All right, Baraka Bake, Honorable. Ntalakacha Madam Taladameng is going to confine, or the parameters would just be within UMC. Okay, aketa kafudemi alonko butunde ngaje ko the rate of growth is really very high. Alimitin back common to ngaje regional structures be lota. Why UMC?
Thank you very much, Dr. Malmo. Wamu question me alonko akumata bake. Why will Honorable Yaya Menten Taliban Suda Karafa Ibrahim leave a party, a 30-year struggle, leave a party me alonko is the biggest opposition party in this country. Party Ebula Party me alonko, they have structures all over the country, even at village level. Why would they want to start something new? It's like everybody more baby fanyinin kala. Why? What do they want? Okay, men kafoko they want power. Ni left of power, we're going to join power. We're going to join Barrow. If you want power, you join power. You understand? So, for it become for about us until we are very brave and principled. Starting something new, taking risk because this is risk. You understand? So this is what it becomes we call for but we are one of the bravest youths in this country. Many longer we pursue what we believe in. Do you understand? So UMC, start kind of fresh. You can even see Ankodomi from Kodo, we used to go this go fund to raise money. Do you understand? So UMC too. So banko metale for our party UDP as a party made opposition yale anu mang na alpha mang dum party yokono pour que opposition yale for the rest of their life na alpha niaje idunda party yokono ya usenda bo support ya support nyina kamako nga dimol duulule andi fele bi dakan karamuro wala fele mbeke bayale nga nyine xame ko imina fenkela party imina yake fenti party yokono yake fenti Gambia. Our parents were not foolish just to follow things like that. Yak nyina kamako na dinol fele be nge wulumbe du na karamuro anu nyande nyato soto ebe nyato soto la mina kono there be something in the party and they be something for the country. This is the reason. For me, I don't know other parents, but this is my parents of this is my reasons why Ntafama and Mbama supported UDP and Usain Dabo. They don't just do it for the sake of it. Ya yene kamako dingol be wulula le ni wuluta ngedun karamungo yake fenti party yokono yake fenti Gambia. But what I realize is ndol funding ko remember UDP, we had our leadership potential dim for 25 years. Nobody can sign in the party. Do you understand? And we cannot afford to add another 5 years. After another 5 years, me, I'm already 43 years old. Another 5 years, I'm going to be 48 years old. 12 years before I retire. It doesn't give me sense. So, ntolonga ni step kale, purunga Gambia politiko nga falindo mandi. And what a politician olga nyina for moleko, alanga funding ke ol kaf nyokan, ye register ina karte of fan tolye. But say, ntolbe, the new slogan is, mbe funding ke ol ye fan kaf nyoma, ye fan register, ye karte of faye. Let the youths organize themselves, gather themselves, register for themselves, and vote for themselves. Do you understand? And why in this order is like Nico term limit. Nka mistake but term limit cannot only be applicable to the sitting government. Term limit lesson that even the opposition parties that are yearning for government, many be masakunda nyinikan, inyantele ye term limit new observe. Do you understand? Mo kilomita lola carte fawla kabo carte fawla signa saba signa nan signa lulu molbe party ko many along is a window still we still want to that's what I always call to grab risk and failure at plain sight. You don't do that. Who does that? Do you understand? So ndol funding ko membe party ko ndol fala ngajel ko sa is high time nga keba handi yang advice yang ngatere nyato fala ngakelo ko sa fombe banko sotonola. So biro man na possible no we took this risk because this is a risk it become it's a risk men ga for left symbol ni left symbol malamo we bida joina barol kam trust me ni left to be famous bida joina barol kam but this is something we just want to rescue the country. We might not be perfect men and gentlemen gentlewomen but we are going to do our best. So we must sort of Gambian score term limit manyana. We cannot only be crying for term limit only with the president. Opposition's party in this country need to start observing term limit. So UMC nata wala ngabang ko molika kilimoti ngabang alinia falangi be another reason is new tribalism in banko tinyal momo mofo imale kamemfo banko tribalism in banko tinyal antol politician antol ka tribalism sa. So UMC ndol lafta new well open aside melon ko ngambe no be ke kilimoti ngamandin ko ni flow ni surwa ni manja ko ni jola ni serele ni siyo nga siyo be ke kilimoti. And I always tell people, election is not ethnic census. We don't want to know how many tribes live in a particular area as far as election is concerned. We want to know who is the best candidate. Election is not ethnic census. We want to know who is the best candidate. If it is presidential election, who is the best presidential election? If it is the National Assembly election, who is the best National Assembly member? If it is mayoral election, who is the best mayor? If it is councillorship election, who is the best councillor, Gobis and Malmo? This is the purpose of election. It's not ethnic census. Ethnic census is conducted by GBOS. So election is not ethnic census. It is who is the best candidate. So UMC, we just natala purka bankola politiko ka faling natala ka term limit ka tandiko amanke masakuna drone be term limit kala president opposition candidate of ni me signa kilim flake o manganye do nyanta nala to answer your question.
All right. O kumare je bakele yo mo jama ka folo ko ya mentende isa ko be fama as you know it lafta la mal la fala ko kilimbe je tawtana tanu labu na lata minna ajikita ko wala mutonyati akabula wala no. Now UMC ibe bambandinje bake ibe kata ko ke kanje bake kajo ko you know UMC nyanda fudala daming ay futa wodo. What is the ultimate objective and how do you actually want to go about that?
Yeah, the ultimate objective is to win a presidential election in 2026 presidential election, Malmo. That's our ultimate objective. And one thing I am telling people, UMC is here to stay. May God forbid, even we are not able to win presidential election, we are going to contest National Assembly elections. We are going to contest mayoral election. We are going to contest councillorship election, and we are going to contest any other election declared by the Independent Electoral Commission. So people who are thinking that our only shot will be presidential election, well, we wish we win presidential election, and we pray, and we're going to work hard now with. But that is not going to be the case. This party is the fastest growing party in this country. Whether anybody working with data observation, what you hear, we are the fastest growing political organization in this country. And I always tell people, and I want everybody to know, I say this in all the media houses I appear. Barrow is going to certainly lose 2026 presidential election. UDP, if they don't change their position, they'll be irrelevant. A third force will emerge. A grand opposition coalition will emerge that is going to dwarf NPP, is going to dwarf UDP as a political organization. I can tell you that for sure. I want this media to record it as well.
Again,
so we are going to contest the election.
Lafte in Kalam, Talib Keta Motemi Alonko is the face of UMC. Yo alakuosa di alakuosa kuye molo mi Alonko ya fauma jibake. Niaje watu drong is smiling, is quite charismatic and a young, handsome looking man. But ni not a political Carola. What can you tell us about this person who is actually the face of UMC?
You see, Talib is a very charismatic leader, Malmo. I remember 2 weeks ago, these back were returnees. They came to the office. Talib started addressing them. Talib started telling them what plans they have for them. I tell you, 2 or 3 you started crying. Me and you are lying, man, bro. Because he was able to inspire them. You can see them, they're crying. Do you understand that? So that's telling you, he has charisma. And Talib, one of the interviewers from Coffee Time, one of Jammeh former ministers, I don't want to disclose, you know what? The only opposition, the only political leader I can listen to this country, he can talk about issues, he can talk about governance, he can talk about economy. To be frank with you, is Talib. I am telling you, issue he can be able to relate issues, governance, international issues, etc., etc. He's the only person in Melonko. This was Jamela, former minister. Other opposition leaders you listen to, you don't even know what they're talking about. They don't know what is governance. They don't know what is economy. They cannot tell us how will they improve our economy when they come. But this boy, this is not the first time looking at him. I've been observing him, and I am going to support him, even though he told me that I should not disclose his name to anybody. So today, too, another interview, you can see the public reaction. One of our, NAM wrote an independent NAM was like, I wish governments are able to see what I'm seeing on this man. Do you understand? So Talib is very tolerant. Moto Talib. Since Talib joined Facebook, Malmo, Jobis, in a comment like all immature politicians. It's not Talib a comment called Facebook. More you comment negatively, he go there and start to exchange. And I always tell people, a politician who cannot accept mere social media comment on his social media posting is a dictator. Because when he has power, he will use the soldiers and the police to go against anybody who criticizes him. And that's the fact. So, more than Talib Nantara interview, I am more jabby. Talib Nantara interview, I am Banko Bena Wuli. Either tribal, either political, or whatever. And 8 years in politics, I think that's enough test. Somebody who occupied 8 years as a mayor of the most populated municipality in this country. More na manong kumakambondi wo dakor me alon ko ay mol barandi. Ndobe mbanika dingola. Me kumakam me banko mol barandi. Oh man, malmo mo that's a leader. man is
honestly,
tested.
mbuga doyar kuma moyala, mbuga kajafir kuma moyala, ebuka kuma moy mi
No,
sala savo ko, career min fotende, o mujikala te kulati and all of that.
mm,
But
no,
political
no.
Gambia, and there are things that, I would actually bring into a perspective to get to know what your reaction is. Ngamodo lamoy,
Thank you.
when you follow the social, ikadolo mega, UMC ni tara political like afo molelo ko, karenyol, Walter Win no la jang, al karenyol ta, ande ikalafika Kenya me kamera ko ikalafika fatam fansol le dundi, molni mol tema political karola. What exactly is the UMC's message, and what exactly would be your reaction to such kind of comments?
My reaction to that is like is false, is utterly misguided. Ndola messaging is always very 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 clear. Yes, I am not going to deny you, because sometimes, like when our people are provoked, they react. Do you understand? If you look at UDP members, anybody may kuka manyana menkala along he or she is reacting to a provocation. So this is what we are telling our people now. We have to try to develop that thick skin. Even when we are provoked, when they go low, we go high. When they provoke us, we still continue to do our messaging, because our messaging is getting impact. That is why 3 or 4 years, we are 3 to 4 months, 5 months. The only political party formed in the Gambia conduct successful regional congresses is UMC. UDP 1996, they appoint each other. They couldn't have a whole Congress. Gambia 1996, it was all appointment. Political party, what they do is to identify each other and appoint each other to these executive positions until a year after or two they can conduct their Congress. But UMC Malmo, it's just 4 or 5 months, we are able to attract 20 delegates from each constituency in this country. They converge at their regional headquarters and select, democratically elect their leaders. So when we tell people we are the fastest growing political organization in this country, in fact, some they accept they are just in self-denial. And that is the fact. To answer your question, yes, sometimes our people do react to provocation. But until that messaging, there is no iota of messaging to UMC members. Even to the last person in the grassroots, a message will contain an element of tribalism, an element of regionalism, an element of sectionalism. We try to avoid as much as possible, and much more. Our official party statement, even their well-crafted party statements, people will contest on it. People will see elements of some of these things I mentioned. But UMC, the official party statement that is crafted by the communication unit, delivered by our spokesperson, the youngest and the most competent spokesperson, Kemo. Malmo more no question. Mola buka tribalism jokono, mola buka kujokono, politic of insult, politic of tribalism, politic of unnecessary criticism. No, you cannot see it there. And that is why most of the youths are relating themselves to the movement. Most of the elderly person before relate to the movement, because we came to change dynamics in Gambian politics. Do you understand? So our messaging, to answer your question, Malmo, don't messaging so until you have evidence to send me. Do you understand? Yes, we can say a particular candidate will not win. Malmo, that's not the problem today. I don't win. I can't fire. That's a political statement. I have to tell people, I have to tell my relatives, Meta Usain no manata ganye nola, Salanga Blanco, even myself, I'm guilty of that. Go for Nako. Now Usain Ketan Alpha Leblocom, but Ndaganya Ninola, Salanga Alanga blood, don't go for Molen. I cannot, because that is not a divisive statement. That is making equal for a Molena in a patio. So I don't think, but if you can give me evidence of that, so that we can
Oh
think
no,
that
oh
tomorrow.
no. These are just people who would make some comments. I
Okay.
just wanted to hear a UMC reaction to that. You don't have any negative vibe. UMC is more about their policies and programs. But here I am,
And not
left in Kalamin.
according to Doctor, UMC is the only political organization since 1990s who is developing code of conduct for the members. And this code of conduct will soon be public. Because for me, I always tell people, Tonya, political relationship is not legal, it's social. Today, whatever party Jobis and Malmo belongs to, who's taking you to court?
No one.
Nobody. Because the relationship is social. I just want to enjoy and I join. But our code of conduct is going to be very strict. You don't go by our code of conduct, we're going to sack you. We don't. So very soon, our code of conduct will be out for public consumption.
Right. So lafta nyin kala min na wolom nyinti ko Gambia keta bankole the scientist in yaji be security wise cool be manering, mulka mulfa hanila birol to be do cool la daming yo ni tada fanang funding kiel jama fele tada ko masilo la jama fata nyi silo kan and then we've heard the incumbent telling people that ila wululal ke sambaje fokala feka wululal fanan jala yo ko nyin kono yo ngeja fanang recently ko it will yakodo sort of almost 50 million that they are going to give NPP women atala Gambia musolo bay mo bebe bataring but again nyim 50 million e ma reka kemenin talul la joning ko watson Gambia fa nyameng ni mo wuli kemenani yo jo yale to la ko do la siada ibeda min fo disboss la mulia now again the collective interest of Gambians, what exactly will a UMC government do different?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, in fact, the biggest scam of this since the beginning of this country, bringing Bankoya Wuluta 1965, is this NPP so-called women enterprise. This is scam, Malmo. You see, for me, you ikomusolana mbala makwelale, but momo janimbala makwela momo be $150. Imagine 100,000 women are able to register to that's in millions. So this arrangement, they just want to exploit our women because they are not educated. But it's an osusu arrangement. It's like 30 women come together. 100 kaf nyoka 3,000 ngadi musikelina. NDP la nyi scheme de olnyam. And I'm happy that Gambian women are able to understand that. Do you understand? Okay, now I was even thinking a president of the republic, Nilbe Molmakola, is going to roll in billions for only 15 million. Because this is what they are able to gather from Gambian women. Among any extra money is the money they collected from Gambian women. Society, they want to disburse that to them as loan. It's their own money. It's just like an osusu. We are all Gambian. We are osusu. So your osusu ke scam women. So now I told they want to give that in the name of the party. And for me, I always tell people, even this is a ground for impeachment of the president. Because you are a president of every Gambian. You are a president of every Gambian woman. Why are you mobilizing funds and give it to certain women and leave certain women? Is this not breach of your constitutional trust? It is. That's number one. Number two, there is Women Enterprise Fund. If president want to help Gambian women, a Women Enterprise Fund that was approved by the National Assembly. One of the National Assembly, the approved. Why can't you commit that money to Women Enterprise Fund under the Minister of Women and Gender, Children and Women's whatever? To help all Gambian women. Do you understand? So, but this is a country whereby lot of grants for presidential impeachment, but Abuka cannot because we have a weak National Assembly. Do you understand? You swore to the Constitution. You're going to defend the Constitution. You are now violating the Constitution on a daily basis, helping women from Malmo's village and leave women from Jobi's village. What is that? What nonsense is that? You are a president for everybody. Bring everybody together. Bring all women together. Commit this fund to a Women Enterprise Fund, which was approved by the National Assembly of the Gambia. But no. And also number three, this can also be grant for election, interference, because it's like this can be translated to vote buying. So if you have a serious National Assembly, we could have summoned the president or the vice president to come before us. We could have summoned the independent electoral commission and say, hey, election is about to start, and the president has started buying votes. We give him reasons why we believe the president is buying votes. 50 million to Gambian women, some of them, you got 2,000 funds a year. You are trying to entice them. You are trying to encourage and motivate.
But again, on this vote buying tactics and all of that, ngajela fanang president ko ay mitino ke sabiji akoy je ko alkalo lo batela dalala mutala yo ate momuta do ko la wol be nyanta tela dalala mutala. But government is continuity, and government existed before this president, and government will exist after this president. Alkalo dolbe je wala socioculturally ikake alkaliyaka ke woto kom ikamara keta kulam. So nimbi president will ta ko mole ko alkalo be bentel la dala mutala ngaje ka alkalo dolo bay yo wala nyinti ko alkalo ka alkali la sate do need landi mol min la free and then they live there wala ba jela ko we are going to protect our alkalo. They might not be voting for the president because they like the president, but the alkalo's position is at risk. Now, don't all other parties see this as a way of manipulating the next election, and there would be probably not a free and fair elections in December 2026?
You are like speaking words directly from my mouth. That statement was so reckless and arrogant from President Barrow. But for me, when I visited LRR, 163 villages, I visited each of these villages in LRR to promote Unite. And the first point of call I do is to go to the Alcalo's house. Some Alcalos, before I meet them, they don't go there. I tell them, go there. Do you understand? I just go there, I can't fall call. Ndrofranga patelo lembe mbebanko nyina ko banko dingol ka banko nyini nyame yele sate mol inform ko ye foko afo ko honorable maintain sanya nada jana ay kuro samana ako talib ben Sudan Unite Party wol flambe banko nyina 2026 presidential election which alkalo is going to find this message disturbing or to act otherwise on me. I say no. So I visited all of them, and this is one of the key things I've been telling them. I say careful ko tonya alkalo be do ko le albe mansala koto ndamanta dispute la but alkalo almu mo bele la alkalo to jang. And I relate that to when I moved to my house in 2020 birindara salola misroto na alkalo bandara sa me history res in perfect peace ngatrae barola natalola wala kala moto bala so biri ko nyina alkalo nga konto adunda ala moto ko yo benda ndal mu ko sudo nga ya nyinin kan tataya ngay ko alkalo kunkum ngay ko inintele nyokonton saldante soundana janyu wato ko ngay ko nyele moto je nyame amanjara ite mu kidi telat ite mu be ngay ko sitra no barole bari manyane la moto be kala barola nataloti ngay bi ko ngay ndebe UDP ndebe tonya fule ngay bibila ni ndane moy kiti soto itala sate ko no jang NPP ko ngay ntela le kiti. Do you understand? So the alkalo was very compliant. The following day, ngale moto je manna baro nata jabal. So when I went to LRL also, ngani for asate alkalo le, almu mobile la alkalo ti. And ali right to le ali mo support, al left men support la. Alkana intimidate. And ali right so ali right le mu, mo le right le mu, mo na sate ko jang atola dia as alkalo. Ngai oppositional mu bang, president barol mu bang, mo mbang atola right le mu, o mo o le right le mu pour na sate ko jang ali dia. Nga intela yem kuro nga diala ma for ay na United movement bar nga diala pour ay yalla sate mol foko ya maintain nata janne ay kuro sama nang ko talib Ahmed Ben Sudan United Party ifalambe banko nyinnal. So opposition parties in this country malmo to answer your question, they are very weak. Ifalambe ko nyoba indo nyo isi sometimes I even sit and say ya mo be fambulba atul be masakunda bondi koto atul dam malbe kelela o masakunda be oba jibe wol be gelel. Do you understand? We have a consolidated and a very strong opposition candidates in the opposition party in this country. By now, this is a ground for petition. You have the National Assembly petition committee at the National Assembly. You can even petition the Independent Electoral Commission. You can start raising alarms. Go, this is not going well. So, bring Adam Barrow alkalo $3,000 salary loan the alkalo is a way of buying them. Do you understand? So what I just say is either you do my work or yeta. Ngalkalo je many alongo ye bondi barafring kono. But in opposition particularly member lola wole. Say what do support la nyadi le? Okay, ba fula ko ni bondi because support fa. Nobody is emotionally attached to all those alkalo President Barrow men bondi because imalla ko alkalo be support la. But no opposition party is also able to show them sympathy. So you can see how disorganized opposition parties are in this country. And don't go for the alkalo influence. Don't underrate alkalo influence. Don't underestimate it. Alkalo they give land. They give land. They are the custodians of land at village levels. So by the time you have the active parties, Gambia, we have 1,950 villages in this country. Imagine you are able to get all those alkalos on your board and they are little influence in their villages. That 1,950 alkalos is going to have that multiple effect. They will use the influence. Do you understand? Because at our Unite data, we realized that this country has 1,950. We established that data. We went further to even establish the amount of households in this country, so that we can see how do we do our political approach. So imagine you let all
like
these 1,950.
I want to ask you this question before we move, before Dr. Continue.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
But I want to retrain you back. You talk about electability here, and others also argue. During dictatorship, election will make a government fair back, and 2021 election for what is your take on that? Time of election, it was under dictatorship, and the dictator does everything to consolidate power.
Now, you see, for me, and that's what I always tell them. Or an election ka sunya Gambia, or he can na sunya, or His Excellency Hussein Dabot, a code on a sunya. Because even during dictatorship, for Baroman dictator, Baro dictator at a time, dictator Jurida Barola, at a time, dictator Mampare Kabonim Bankokan. So, since 1996, my former party were able to win National Assembly elections, council election. But Sunya is always one election, is always one candidate. So we prepare Baro. Just less than 3 months, Baro was able to win presidential election. Party leader came again, lose election. They want us to go back to history of cheating. Come on, we can allow that. But National Assembly election. We all won our National Assembly seats, mayors, chairmen, everybody. So I don't. Let me tell you one thing, Jobis. Election karte keso buko sunya nyimbanko kan. Niko maybe during voter registration. Do understand, which is never a perfect system. Mole karte o soto men manye na soto. But come go, you change my 20 to 200, you change my 1,000 to 10,000. This is not true. So that obuka nyimbanko kan. Do understand? So niko dictatorship.
So now I want to ask you about your own thing now. The understanding thing, it can count as an independent candidate, and then Mojamali Atendiko, UDP winning the 2021-2022 National Assembly elections. That is correct. I mean, how was the feeling? I know this must be a very difficult decision for you to make. Looking at
yes. One of the most.
How was it?
It was the most difficult decision I took in my life. You see, when I wrote that resignation letter, and I went over it, first I imagined how to write this resignation letter. What am I going to put in this resignation? And I always tell people, I'm very clear, and let me be on record. I have no policy differentials, program differentials with UDP. The only difference I have with them is the choice of their flag bearer. And I keep saying this at every medium I appear. So when I wrote this letter, I read the letter. I was like, okay, I looked at my house. I saw party leaders' pictures, my own UDP pictures. When I opened my drawer, UDP, marks everywhere. I was like, what am I coming to do? I told my wife, I think what I do, I'm going to change my mind until they sack me. So my wife advised that's going to be very bad. You don't understand? Resignation is a virtue. When you are sacked, it is so negative. You understand? So Namusolo Kumo was echoing in my mind. So the following day, I wanted to submit the application. I changed my mind again. I said no. It's like, so what I do lately is to in my constituency, because for me, I'm a politician very emotionally attached to my women politicians. I have to be very honest. So I went to all of them. Do you understand? They are about 81. So Ntate Beyanga explain. Do you understand? Okay, but thank God, some of them, what they told me, honorable de, madam may yet to stay UDP. Ni must stay UDP, the Katifa, no one at Mba Falena, but UDP. But don't be they will tell you, Yemen for Tony, I am moving with you. So bring a company opinion in sound, I'm comfortable. So Nigel Kosai is not going to be betraying them. And I always tell people is this we didn't betray anybody. This is just adjustment and alignment of priorities for oneself and for the country. This is what we did exactly. So bring a opinion in sound about it, one of them. So I'm now comfortable. Do you understand? Even some of them agree, they will send in UDP, but when I come National Assembly election, because of my respect for them, my whatever emotional and financial attack to them, they'll probably vote for me. Some will tell me outrightly, we are going with you. So bring what I'm comfortable. So when I send the resignation letter to Alaji Dabo, before he opened it, I changed my mind, not delete. because it's like, this is the party, but I was very uncomfortable. So subsequently, when I heard that they are trying to organize central committee meeting to start me, I first pulled the trigger. So, but to answer your question, Tobias, it was a very, very, very bad, terrible decision for me. It's something that I was so grief striking that I'm leaving a party I gave everything to, but I have to move on because I don't want to grab risk and failure at plain sight.
In few sentence, honorable, in few sentence, what have you choose over something? Did you choose national interest over party, or there is something special that min nade hakilo kono wotembo nyina purka jako parti mi alno ko wulu to kono nyafuno to wala kono ye farman sandi ye kol beke pour que den nanke ke dan nanke sama dibte bo kono ibo party bulakan, you know, munkula. I mean, what have you choose over what? You gonna trade off.
It can always be national interest, and job is there are three things. As a politician, you have a loyalty to the nation, loyalty to your party, loyalty to your conscience. Sometimes these loyalties do appear to you at the same time. You see one loyalty to the nation, you see one loyalty to the party, you see one loyalty to other loyalty to your conscience, and they, as I said, they appear in front of you at the same time. Now it's like, go choose one of them. Party is very important. You cannot ignore a party, but when it comes into your loyalty to the nation, should supersede all of these loyalties. And let me tell you one thing about human psychology. Your conscience is always right. If you are reacting to things in your life and your conscience is telling you do A, B, and C, that is your intent. That is why in law, a mens rea must be established for any criminal act, mens reus and actus reus. Because in law, conscience means all means that's your intention. And if you don't have intention for a crime, you not commit the crime. You not go to actus reus. Do you understand? So when to answer your question, I choose the nation because Gambians are yearning for change. Gambians want change. We cannot afford to put Gambian or cannot change in 2026 presidential election. So to answer your question, Mr. Jobis Rada, I choose nation over all of this because this is the nation. I grew up this nation, and since I was young, I always tell people my plan A, B, C, D is all to stay in this country. Sometimes it's only my plan E, I see myself outside the country. But plan A, B, C, D is all to live in this country. And I already have children in this country. Some started going to university. My first daughter has started her medical school. So I cannot deliver a country to them that cannot be able to pay their university tuition fee, that cannot be able to create good schools for them, that cannot be able to create good hospitals for them. As I said, I'm already 43 years old, 17 years to my retirement. So imagine, you know.
And it's important. Like one thing that nobody can take from you is you are a man of conviction. A man of conviction in a sense that moro ni lata minnan yajoko, and that's what you do. Irrespective of whatever one would say, your conscience guides you and you go by that. And that's very much applaudable. Now, until after where I want to dive into, we have seen a lot of, forth and back, I would not even call it KMC and BAC. It's just, among people within the UDP. There are multiple camps. Yankuba Dabo and the folks in Brikama are very much, opposed to, UMC, forth and back always happening. What is your message to the opposition bench altogether, knowing that going into 2026, of course, the opposition need to understand that, their unity not really coming together. But of course, ntolbe opposition kaja fe mona opposition mako monala. How could the opposition do better when it comes to, selling their own agendas getting into 2026? And do you foresee any, coalition getting into 2026 to unseat the incumbent? Or will UMC be ready to
Yes.
partner with any other party to come together to unify their forces?
This will go back to Ngamen for Malmo. There will be change in this country. And I said, if UDP as political party made a position of falling, then they are going to be very irrelevant in 2026 presidential election.
So,
Now, for the choice of flag bearer, come to primaries, come to convention, and we choose an electable president. It can still come from UDP, it can still come from NRP, sorry to tell you this, it can still come from No Alliance, it can still come from UMC, it can still come from GDC, it can still come from DOI and any other political organization.
So are you telling me, Menteng, even at UMC, you are still willing to partner with all opposition parties, including even the United Democratic Party, to unseat this leadership?
Oh, yes. We started that process, and that process is looking very brighter. It's looking very, 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 very promising. Almost what I realized that all political organizations in this country and all political movement in this country are so comfortable with UMC leadership. We are not telling anybody we are going to be the flag bearer. We are not telling anybody we are going to lead. What we are telling people is let's come together, grow together, trust each other, and at the end of the day, any presidential candidate, any flag bearer we choose during that moment, we are going to trust that person. Do you understand? So why we say this essentially is we want to subject ourselves to national convention, we want to subject ourselves to primaries. But this is not what is the person of UDP. For them, it's like come we swallow you. Do you understand? Come you we are
what do you mean? What do you mean by come we swallow you? Bring that down to a common man's understanding. That's very political.
Why I say this? Yes, okay, thank you very much. First, it was a party leader made a statement in Farato where he said all opposition candidates are going to melt like a candle in this country, like except UDP. What's that telling you, Malmo? You want people to come and join your party, but you're not telling them they will melt like a candle. I mean, they will die. And that statement was made prior to the coalition process. Now, Lamin Mane and others will go to interview without Usenu as the flag bearer is a deal breaker. It's simple. It's simple words. They're simple dictionary meaning. So this is why I say they want to swallow people.
Is there any possibility is there any possibility of having UMC joining UDP when it comes to politics?
Any possibility?
What do you mean? This is a political party joining another political party? No,
Is there any possibility? Before the election. The reason why I asked about this, there are a lot of
anyway, it's a question. Definitely speaking, I'm not laughing at your question, but it's like UMC or Unite as a party going back to UDP. I don't know. Okay, can you first tell me as what? Coalition partners, as alliance, electoral pact, or we are going to say, okay, let's dismantle Unite or the UMC and join UDP. What do you want to achieve from this question, please?
These are brothers. The reason why I said this, you guys are brothers. Like, right? So Nalta the four in the middle of the sea around October, November, October than Franke. Nina si body bunko na kacha purka jako, na cool muru nyoka. Force so no more in carrot. For cool some muru nyoka.
And to answer your question,
I still don't understand the context, Honorable. Kamuru nyoka kanyari ko UMC buy yes muru UDP. Is that what you're asking?
I mean, that's the same question because.
Okay. Let's hear from Honorable.
Jobis, we are committed. That was one of Lord Dennis' judgment. Committed being recalled. We are committed to the ideals of Unite or UMC being recalled. But we are not going to downplay electoral pact with any political organization in this country, including the UDP. Electoral pact, either by way of alliance, join forces together, or by way of strategic partnership coalition. We don't rule that out. But to say, let's dismantle our UMC and go back and join UDP, to answer that question, it is no. This is not going to. It's not going to be possible because we are committed to UMC being recalled. But I repeat myself, in terms of electoral pact, to be able to salvage Gambia in 2026 presidential election, we are open to coalition with every political organization in this country, including the UDP. Let me answer that. Let me answer it like that. And to answer Malmo's question, yes. To answer Malmo's question regarding the fracas, the noisy quarrel, whatever between Brikama area council boys and let I have a message for them. For me, if you hated Talib Bensouda, you dislike Talib Bensouda when he was in UDP because you fear that he was going to lead UDP. That was the source of your hatred and fear. That was the source of your insecurity. I am now telling you, relax, feel free, open up and pursue the interests of your party because Talib will never go back to UDP. If that was your fear. So if that's the case, because for me, I know all of these things started like that. Fear, insecurity, thinking he was the most popular, how do I call it? He was the most popular politician in UDP at the time. And even you don't even know that. Talib was more popular in UDP than Patida himself. And I told Honorable Sao at Kerfatu, this is, if you are telling me now, when Talib was in UDP and survey was conducted, Talib got 18%, Hussein got 12%, and all those people are UDP supporters. So what are you telling me literally? Why Talib 18, Hussein 12? It means that Talib is more popular in UDP than Hussein himself.
No, popular Talib because within few months, everybody knows UMC.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. One thing that I think, either people were so emotionally charged that they were not seeing that, and then among themselves having those insecurities and those feelings. So but don't you actually see politically? It was politically sensible that everybody remains within the party and let the party choose one among these younger persons, and all of these people all embrace this person and they all unite forces, because new Waketa, Momo Waketa Mansati Wolkono, the other ones, all of you would actually, you will be running the government. So what is the insecurity and Nintendo Karente? So Nintalib Karaje wala Yankuba Karaje wala ya Keta president. Former UDP let. One of you can become Chief Justice, another can become Minister of this, another your cabinet is going to be entirely a UDP government. So that unification was the best bet for the UDP going into 2026. But now individually, don't you see that has led to a very big division in that party, and that could actually have a big bearing not only on UDP but also even the people that are fragmented from them.
You cannot downplay that. And you can remember for the Malmo, few presidential young aspirants in the party. But in the full disclosure of facts, in the mantra no Talib, before they join the politics. Ndolanga group of one person who was my boss as CEO Lamin Sane. Because Ndowaro Ndamandum political control can Hussein was going to win 2021 presidential election. And at one time, like that, can come. We open that group. But during the political corner,
Tonya in the family, Devon Lamin called to the Kebalum.
So, during the Malmo, bring the political corner, my perspective came because I cannot be in self-denial. Bring the political corner, not all crossing yamming. UDP kono na cross now outside the UDP. The most acceptable candidate for UDP to win presidential election in this sector is Talib. But in terms more ko pokara nge bife. Ndara fara la misania. Ngai ko CEO. I think, for me, in my opinion, mention we know presidential election or mbanko kan purun to la pate akone is Talib. akonya why do face talib ngai ko talib advantage le sono than all of us gambiano beke fanjate konol gamben e parti beke fanjate konol ate is a compromising candidate for us ngai see you are a potential head of state, you are a potential president, I'm a potential president, everybody is a potential president, but until we are there ngai ko so I came nata for no ko kabo bila ndela support will be with talib and man la fi yen jeng kudo keke yafako I do this with you ngai I don't operate like that. I owe the other boys and girls in the group no obligation. But for you, we are working together, and I was even encouraging you. Ko, ni ko sen bodo jesa nyini no. Ngai bar wato man dum politiko ko sain dum politiko ko ngai na perspective has changed. So I have to accept circumstances on their nature for current. Ngai got the only winning candidate among us is Talib, but we are all still potential presidents. Because we will come and do and implement the term limit. By way of that, you can be president, I can be president, anybody in the party can be president. As far as I'm speaking to you now, the most electable person than all of us is Talib. It doesn't mean that he's richer than all of us, he's educated. In the conversation, you see, we are even more experienced and educated than Talib. In the conversation, you are even more experienced and educated than Talib. But under the circumstance, Gambians are going to vote for Talib. Gambians prefer Talib to me and you. And nkai ko natanya foi bi respect ko mbunya kono kabobila ndela position ndela to help somebody to win UDP presidential flag bearer is going to be Talib. With all due respect, nkai others let them think whatever they want to think. But ngaje ko imuna kebal ti
let me ask you this question 1 second. Let me give you this scenario. Given that UDP, Dabo, felt that around May, June, July, he felt that, oh, I can do this shit. Let me bring somebody. UDP Lamin Sane Sambanam. Would there be any possibilities, Purkajako, you are somebody, me Lamin Sane long, and in Talib Bensuda, to try by all means, you go considering going back to UDP because the flag bearer has changed?
I don't like this few words from you going back to UDP. I don't like that. You see,
I find that very inconvenient. People cannot form their party. What is your question?
Okay.
Are they going to form an alliance with the UDP, or you are telling them to neglect everything they are doing and go back to UDP?
I'm talking about alliance now. Let me reframe it now.
Thank you. No, I thank you very much. Now we are speaking, but to go back. Job is made. Yeah. That's going to no for on go. Until we are open to electoral pact with any political organization in this country, including the UDP. I told you before. But that electoral pact must be on principle. Convention, primaries, whoever is hatched out of that process is the acceptable candidate for Gambians to vote on the coalition ticket. So, but to say we dismantle UMC Unite and go back to UDP, that's no, man. That's not possible.
No, Yalong, the whole point, like Menteng is saying, I very much believe in Lamin Sane. That's, UDP intermeta fola moliela ko. Karanal be siarenje, Mofa Hamungal be siarenje, they've got the international exposure, they've worked all over. If you want to bring Lamin CV on the table, this is a guy who is an all-rounded leader. And I still believe that he has the potential of becoming this country's president. And he's a big unifier. And you don't even hear him talk about other people. He's always talking about issues. And that is a man of great integrity, and I have a lot of respect for him. Now, if you also look at it among these young people within the UDP, then Talib is another very charismatic leader and has the ability to easily unseat the incumbent Katu. Akwai Ndolbela Janako, a number of Borana State House, Kana, Talib re-election, ka campaign back again. And Talib still won. I would not see it as Talib winning against a sitting minister, but Talib actually won against the entire government machinery, including the president.
Thank you. Exactly.
So, and that's my whole point is that the UDP younger politicians should have seen beyond just personal ambitions, but to see the collective good of all of them. Some of the positions or some of these area councils, NPP might win them. You think that, okay, this person is preventing me from becoming president. You might actually lose your position in the council that you are actually leading. Now, the possibility
let me tell
is
you one thing. Balmo, let me tell you one thing. Here in Memphis, the only candidate at the time 2022 mayoral election, men say UDP Bondino in for KMC election was going to talib. Candidate do no Barola 2022 mayoral election, 2023 rather, he was going to be defeated. And so forth. Because all the state minister, Barrow himself, ambassadors were recalled, permanent secretary, directors, all the state ministers, instead of they go and campaign in West Coast, in LRR, in other places, everybody concentrated in KMC because we got information. Barrow called a political meeting and told them, if he wins the mayoral, he's going for presidency. I'm telling you. He called the political leaders in KMC. Now, Sonda Talib Winter 2022 presidency. How do I call it? Mayoral election. And the next move, he is going to seek for presidential election, and he is going to give us challenge. Trust me, this is what President Barrow told the political experts, political actors in EMC. So I call say, what do we do now? So you plan no that. Part of it, political KMC. Part of it, Minister Solbena. Part of it, Bakar Bag don't compete no. Part of it, all the ambassadors, many of the KMC, he very corner. But yes, what happened? Usiano Dabo got 42,000 votes in KMC, but Talib got 58. What is that telling you, Malmo? That is telling you Talib has potential to hold onto the UDP base, consolidate it, and put extra vote in on top of UDP. And that is what UDP need to win presidential elections. So all those examples are there. They will talk about Yankuba. Usiano party leader got 105,000 in West Coast. Yankuba get how much? 70 something. They cannot even get what party leader got. So the only candidate, UDP candidate, who is able to have the number of votes of party leader, and I felt Lafaka, I party leader Carter Mutano in the region, I felt Lafaka, that's Talib. So that was a very good sign for UDP. That is because other parties are voting for him. And that's what we need to be presidential elections. As I said, Yankuba party leader got 105,000 in West Coast. Less than what he got, shortfall by like 30,000 votes or so. So UDP the biggest
probably somebody could also argue. Somebody could argue on voter turnouts too. So you probably need to give us a statistical representation of that, depending on the voter turnout. So the voter turnout could determine the percentage of people that he got and all that. But altogether, this would be my personal final question. Why UMC and why not the rest? What will you do different?
Well, UMC, our approach to governance is going to be very, 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 very different. First, number one, why do we need to keep setting commissions of inquiry? And we see those commissions of inquiry, their only reference book is the Auditor General's report. Why can't you implement the Auditor General's report instead of establishing commissions of inquiry? Their operational costs run into millions of dollars. The staff, the hotels, etc. As I said, is the Auditor General's report. As a responsible government, why can't you bring the Auditor General's report and implement that instead of establishing commissions of inquiry? Understand? So we are going to avoid this endless commission of inquiry. Bring your recommendation. Go to cabinet. You started your white paper sometimes, which is very biased. Implementing recommendation on others and leave others to leave. The general's report is the basis of this commission of inquiry. The inquiry, and this is what we are going to establish. That's number one. Number two, Malmo. If you look at the youth population of this country, it's very, very sad to say Gambians youths are very, very, very ambitious. They are very, very hardworking. What is lacking is opportunity. And do you know why a country can have millions, thousands of millionaires? Now, UMC, part of our policy will be accessible loans from the banks at a very, very minimal interest rate. Like, for instance, the interest rate of this country, if my memory could serve me well, is like 21 to 22%. So if you go to the bank and get these loans, before they are able to get their profit, most of the businesses a better collapse. But if you allow citizens to go to the bank, get loans of minimal interest rate, aka batinam bank dingol ka hani ka business o kata bank kabilo ta ka business o ke millionaire ka siyawol nyama, because everybody is injecting into the economy. Because Talib is an economist. I'm sure he is going to be very, very instrumental to be able to contribute to devise those kind of policies for the country. Central bank interest rate should minimally come down, should not be more than 15%. So when we do that, all the youths will be able to engage into business. We will go to the bank, get these loans, and do investment into the economy. Number 3, farm settlement schemes that will encourage young and educated people to take up farming as a career. You understand? If you establish this farm settlement scheme, train young educated people. You can even be degree holders. You train them in a particular camp. What kind of business you want to do? You bring experts to train them on that. When they graduate from this farm settlement schemes, give them loans. I want to do potato farming. I want to do ground farming. I want to do poultry, A, B, and C.
Let me ask you this. I heard the Minister of Agriculture said that the government actually took tractors from farmers and gave them donkeys and donkey carts. He said that is basically what the farmers needs because they are mostly subsistent farmers. Is that basically anything to go by in your policies? That Gambia sama dola wala sula da falol la bare man sula tractor.
No, in fact, Minister of Agriculture, wala nanti na dia na National Assembly, because and this is one day minister, you are giving these tractors to farmers. They don't even know when to change oil and oil filter. You're giving them these tractors. These farmers don't even know when will I going to change my oil and oil filter. So it's like it doesn't give me sense. No, you can do mechanized agriculture, where some of these farmers are going to be trained on some of these fittings of the tractors. Now, and what happened, how the kind of tractor from the farmers is in fact very, very, very wrong. Yeah, like a tractor, 60 tractors, 70 tractors, do you know a businessman? $1.5 million dollars is not sitting in any farmer's account in this country. No farmer can produce a collateral that match that kind of loan. So my last National Assembly question, I told the minister to give me the names of all the people that benefited from this tractor. These tractors, what happened is, the businessman will tractor not the farmers. Don't get that correct. Yen tractor member over 60 plus or so. It was only businessmen, many tractor Ninsang. Many they can be able to access loan from the bank. Will tractor, no single farmer is able to buy their tractor. So now what is happening now? Farmers will be new businessman will be Western farmers on their farms to do their farming operations. So if they're
just making profit out of it.
Thank you. Exactly. Why can't you organize the farmers into cooperative unions, whereby these cooperative unions are going to own these tractors? When they own these tractors, you plan for them, then the money can come. But individual farmer approach to this tractor is wrong. Farmers are poor man more. But when they establish a cooperative societies, like you go to my village, Quinala, this tractor we are giving to your farmer cooperative society. After you pay, you go to Bumari, we are giving you this this tractor to your farmer cooperative society. This is how you organize farmers. But individual farmers, small jobbies, they cannot afford this. So it's not true. They are not giving any tractor to farmers. They are giving tractors to only the millionaires or the businessmen of this country. And to say our farmers needed only donkeys to do their farming operations is an insult to our farmers. It's very, very it's very shameful, and the minister lacked the decorum by the time he was expressing that kind of foolish statement.
Here we are. I want to ask you this question. That's very clear. A new constitution, security, is that a priority for UMC government?
I said this most of my interviews. UMC government, when we come to government in December, by the first session of the National Assembly, the 2020 draft. When I say 2020, I don't mean Barrow's revised 2024. we still have in custody 2020 draft intact, a draft that was subjected to wider, exhaustive, extensive public consultation, both in the borders of the Gambia and outside the borders of the Gambia. Essentially, I mean, even Gambians outside this country were consulted. What kind of law you want to be governed with? And Gambians came together. The Constitutional Review Committee went to the farthest villages in this country. All the town, all the bantabas, villages, markets, women were drivers, carpenters, weldermen, women, youths, everybody. We said this is what we want. It was a wider public consultation, that particular constitution. So this is what we are going to bring to the National Assembly, and this is not Barrow's 2024 draft. And I always have another constitutional issues with regards to why are we taking constitution to the National Assembly. The constitution should go back to the people, referendum straight. But why do you allow? Look at how many times 58 National Assembly members deny Gambian their constitution. So I thought that particular provision of the constitution should be amended, where immediately after the constitutional committee established the constitution, let the constitution go straight to the people to vote on referendum. Then later it can come to the National Assembly. But why do you take 1.5 million views to only 58 people, even though we are their representative? Well, it's not fair. Look, we deny Gambians. And anytime we deny Gambians, we are denying Gambians the opportunity to have a say on the constitutional process. So United Government, to answer your question, Malmo, when we come to government, the first session of the National Assembly, we are going to lay the 2020 draft to the Gambian. Gambian constitution, ni UMC Masakunda na Ramba, make sure Gambia my constitution also the first National Assembly members will be sila lum follow mena. Ebekala lum follow mena. They will start the business of giving Gambians the new constitution. I want you to record
Security.
that. Security is also going to be it's very embarrassing, Malmo. Do you know that Gambia became independent in 1965? Common knowledge to all of us. But we are not still independent as far as our security is concerned, especially when Adama Barrow came to power. Why do you know all these securities, special bodyguards to the president are all foreigners? You go to the heart of we have a foreign checkpoint. You go to Senegambia, you go to every place, you see the foreign, how do I call it, soldiers patrolling our streets. Sometimes I ask myself, why this? Why? They said the mission of ECO was to restore democracy. And I always tell people, I have never been more hopeful about the democratic credentials of this country than I am today. So they have to move. They have to go outside our country. So it's so embarrassing to have military checkpoint, foreign military checkpoint in Fonyi, which is heart of the Gambia. You come back to the city, you saw foreign militaries patrolling our street. Your president is moving. The front vehicle, side vehicle, back vehicle are all foreign security. Malmo. This is very disgraceful and this is unacceptable. And what they fail to understand is our state house, all the communication, whatever security is a communication in state house, the host country is receiving them live and direct, whether we know it or not. So it's like our security is so exposed to foreign interference, because their security personnel are all over. That's number one. Number two, we are going to prioritize security sector reform. We are not telling any man or any security officer you are going to be out of work. Because security sector reform, no, that's not the case. Security sector reform is to give them capacity, is to train them. Do you understand? So UMC, our first 100 days in office, we are going to provide this training manual as far as security sector reform is concerned, to be able to give capacity to our security sector. This is what we must security sector reform. But many people told that when you say security sector reform, you are going to say, Dr. Malmo, Army Commander, you are going home. No, that's not the case. Gabby's police inspector, no, we're not going to do that. Nobody should do that. Nobody should anybody out of work. But there should be accountability, and there should be at least to raise the capacity of security men to be able to be more professional. So that they can handle protests properly, they can handle provocation properly, etc., etc. But to say it as it is, we are not going to tell anybody you are going to be out of work. So we are going to prioritize security sector reform in our first 100 days in office, Malmo.
Maintain the politician and maintain the engineer. What's next for you after December 2026?
After December 2020, and many people are, I think that's a very good question. If we win, if we unite win as government, I am going to do something different besides being a National Assembly member. But may God forbid, if we unite, we didn't win 2026 presidential election, I am going back to the National Assembly. And people who are saying, Mende will lose Latrikunda because no UDP, time will tell. I am going to win Latrikunda South the constituency. Even I am adding a more found lead in Latrikunda South the constituency, I'm going to win the constituency. So to answer your question, unite as government, I will probably do something different besides being a National Assembly member. But if we are not able to win 2026 presidential election, I am going to contest April 2027 National Assembly election, and I am going back to the National Assembly.
Jovis, that is it from me, you know.
that would have been my next question, but
I like mental, man. You know?
Yeah, we love the energy though. That would have been my question, Honorable. But man. I want to ask you this, and a lot of people are very curious about it. UMC have submitted their...
Huh? Jovis, is high of you to come.
This guy, I don't trust him. He acts like I'm not sure if he's NPP or not, but he better come to Unite.
I mean, we have a lot of Unite people around here. I'm not going to mention names, but I have a lot of people who are United. I don't know
what it's the young people's party.
Thank you. Exactly. We register ourselves and vote for ourselves.
All right. So I want to ask you this, Honorable, and this might be our last topic for today. That is calculation for 2026. United has submitted their registration to IEC, but still now Mojamalko IEC, the registration they are holding it, they are sitting on it. Up to date, Imang Kumafo Sade
IEC
5 parties that are pending. Tell us something about that.
Answer your question. IEC, the men and women IEC are men of they have unquestionable, impeccable character. They will never unnecessarily sit on anybody application. And let me tell you what is. IEC cannot deny anybody to register. They will guide you during the application. And they have been guiding us in that. Number one issue was when the constitution was submitted, we are registering Unite, but mistakenly, one particular sentence there contained UMC. Do you understand? So IEC called us to change that from UMC to Unite so that we have uniformity. So also our colors, instead of being horizontal, that was IEC and we want you people to instead of vertically arranging your colors, we want it to be horizontal, so that when we are printing the ballot drums, it's easier for us. Because I was there when we do that face-to-face with IEC. They appeal to us. They say it's still our right. They say it is even done. And we are Gambians and we don't want to see taxpayers' resources taxpayers' resources katinya, so no accept them. It's okay. We are going to maintain our color, but as you see in the arrangement, we can go back. So these are the only things. And IEC has 7 other political parties pending due diligence, due process. We cannot be so. We cannot say no. When we submit immediately, we have no. We cannot do that. But to answer your question, IEC did not deny our application. IEC, to answer your question, they are processing our applications because what they have, the query they gave us, that is already settled and that is submitted to them. And I can tell you, before end of Ramadan, Unite will be a bona fide party in this. Unite will be a legitimate party in this country. And after Ramadan, Unite is going to do our national congress that will be presided with the most biggest political rally in this country. And that's the day governments will know that will be changed in this country. So to answer your question, we are not denied. It's a process, and the process will be concluded before end of Ramadan. And after Ramadan, we are going to do our national congress. We are going to select our national leaders. And the evening of that congress, we are going to hold the biggest political rally in this country, the most sophisticated political rally in this country, the most organized political rally in this country. We are going to do it in such a way that it has never been registered in the history of West Africa.
Funding. A lot of people are very curious about funding. I mean, they're going to flow Bible. And then I told these things to somebody. In Kaiko United, they are going to have 1 or 2 National Assembly members. That's my conviction, and I still believe in that because of they got really funding. Where are you guys getting funding? Or would you like to tell us?
We are going to have 1 or 2 national. I don't understand that. You mean 2027? You are praying for us, Joby.
No, I was saying that. I mean, no, I am just telling people that we have new parties in the Gambia. But for Unite, I am very curious. It's undeniable. This is fact. They are actually raising momentum. They are shaking the nation. And then it is my conviction that they're going to have let me say a couple of names. They're going to have a couple of names, right, in the Gambia. The question is, given that in the worst scenario that United happens to lose the election, 2026 election, are we going to see Taliban contesting as a mayor? As a mayor, again.
You see, after if, may God forbid, if United we don't win 2026 presidential election, we are going to have the most National Assembly seats in this country, because our party is going to attract a new brand of youths, very resourceful, educated youths, and I am sure Gambians will want to see the educated that are exposed. Imagine we come and contest, Dr.
which is very possible. I was just about to say, you know what, we're going back to contest, and Jobis will go and contest in Combo South.
Babagal is going to beat him. Babagal is there.
So we regard to funding, we have no extraordinary funding. Like for instance, the tour I did in LRR, that was self-funded. I spent over 60 for that tour from my personal pocket. And most of the movement I do for the party is from my pocket. Most of the movement Taliban should do from his pocket. Most of the movement came Ibrahim Madiba and other persons. We also seek for donations. Even today, as I'm looking at as I'm doing this interview later, I'll have some few donation letters to draft and send to our donors. You can see lately we have opened GoFund account. So to answer your question, we don't have any extraordinary funding opportunity. We fund ourselves like any other political party in this country.
My last question. I think Doctor will have a last question. Honorable, my last question would be: a lot of people, they've given up when it comes to this young politician, and this is the real fact. Mo jamal bi jikilate back young politician Kuala Bangkoka. From Bajala Mentang joint President Barrow post 2026.
You see, let me tell you one thing, Malmo. I keep saying this. Politicians, they don't have principle and memory.
Yes,
so
memory.
What I mean? No, they don't have memory. They keep deleting. They keep deleting their memories because sometimes if you are able to you understand about what happened yesterday? What was my relationship with Malmo? What was my relation with Jobis? What so politicians on daily basis they delete their memory so that they will not understand what happened yesterday or they will not remember what happened yesterday. Do you understand? So they don't also have principle because they keep meandering between interests. Today is NPP, today is this, today is NPP, today is this. And I tell people, my resignation from UDP is on principle. I don't believe in the accuse of flag bearer. But if I want opportunities, I'll go to Barrow. If I want power, I'm going to join power. Do you understand? So politicians, you are going to case, Albert Gambian should expect this on and on and on. There will be politicians of opportunism. There will be politicians, they are on principle. If they are not on principle, we are going to see on and on and on. But I can tell you, Faranko, not every politician will behave like Mudi Momodi Sabalis. In fact, he's the key. He's the key as far as Gambian political frogging is concerned. That one, the politicians don't have principle and memory. But Atata is like chronic. Atata chronic. Because what I don't understand about some politicians, like for instance, today Malmo and myself and you, we are on this conversation. If I tell you this cup is white, and you agree this is white, Malmo agree this is white, you agree this is white. But politicians, it's like the next day, after telling you this is white, the next day I'll come, no, this is black. And I want you people to believe it's black. After seeing it's white. And they no. It's not black. It's not white. It's black. Sometimes you don't even know what they want to tell Gambians. This is what happened to Dr. Sise. This is what happened to Ismaila. This is what happened to Momon Sabali. And this is what happened to many other politicians. You make audience to believe in a particular thing. The next day you come, you say no, that's not the case. Believe in something else.
Is the same thing going to happen in your case come 2026?
What?
Is the same thing going to happen on your case too? From both financial side.
Oh, to go where?
Come on, let me tell you this.
No, what is it?
I just want to be straight. We were told. We were told.
To answer your question, I know this will come later, and I can assure you, I will never join President Barrow's government. I will never. You see, I don't trust in President Barrow. I cannot join him. I pursue what I believe in. So under what circumstance, I will never join President Barrow. I will never join President Barrow's government. I will never join NPP government. I am going to push the agenda of Unite, and I will make sure Unite is elected as government in 2026 presidential election. And whatever happened in 2026 presidential election, Unite is still as a party, and we are going to make sure that we move because we are committed to Unite being recalled. So to answer your question again, I am not going to join President Barrow's government, and I'm not going to join NPP, please.
That's incredible. Doc, do you have anything before?
And nobody among us. Talib Bensouda will never join Barrow or Barrow government. I can tell you that for sure, because Talib has every opportunity. He was offered vice president, or local government minister, was offered finance minister, etc., etc. He denied all of that. And Gambians will come to know all of these things in the nearest future. So he will never join Barrow. I will never join Barrow. Ibrahim Adiba will never join Barrow. Karfa Songo will never join Barrow. Kemo Poja will never join Barrow. Probably all the founding fathers of Unite Movement for Change or Unite as a party will never decamp Unite for any other thing, because we believe in the cause of Unite, and we will pursue it till later.
I believe that politicians who leave a very big opposition political party, the biggest, since 1996, to form something that's a baby, therefore will not just jump and say nemo lafta karaman say I be bola UDP later man say but it bola UDP eta fellow me along you are starting it from scratch. Exactly. You might have your differences with Menteng like a lot of people would do, but I am one person who believes in his conviction. I believe that this is a man of integrity and principle. That is one thing you cannot take from Menteng. You can fight with him, but one thing is not a lot of men. And this is a very rare characteristics in our politics. And one thing is, when people would respect you, let them respect you on principle. And if they are going to despise you, let them despise you on principle. And on that note, I thank you very much for having this wonderful discussion. I think it was very great. And honestly, I'm very, very, pleased to have this conversation with you and wishing you very good luck. And of course, Unite as a whole, hopefully you come to power in December, 2026 for a transformational Gambia that is all inclusive, and of course, is
transformation season has begun.
It seems like
that's our slogan. The transformation season has begun.
It seems like you convinced Dog. Okay, what would be your? Okay, it seems like you convinced Dog.
It's not convinced.
Unite.
I'm a big supporter of Unite.
I want to see a country celebrate in 2026, and Doctor and yourself cannot see any political alternative right now to Unite. So
for me, the opposition still need to come together to unseat this incumbent, because we don't want to see somebody ruling this country beyond 10 years.
That will
That
happen.
should be
That will happen. Inshallah.
and everything you have said, you've answered the question so perfectly. And of course, it's very reassuring that no matter what the differences, Unite is willing to partner with every opposition party to unseat this government and
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
form a government that is,
Exactly.
unifying all Gambians, and of course is for the collective good of all Gambians, and that is the most important thing for every Gambian.
Exactly.
So
Honorable,
thank
That's
you
what we
very much
believe.
for spending
That's the
time with us.
opposition.
Right.
your last
Thank you
word,
very much.
Honorable.
Malmo, thank
Yeah,
you very much, Jobis. Nice interacting with all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much, Honorable. Good to be here.
Thank you very much.